Howdy doody, ladies and gentlemen. It is Thursday, September 5th, 2013, and this is Day 9 Daily number 626, where we learn to be a better gamer. And 626 is a zip, or not a zip code, it's an area code for phones in Pasadena, California. If you need any more useful trivia, look for Snapple. In today's daily, we're going to be watching TaeJa versus Innovation from the WCS round of 16. They played a decent game 1, pretty good game 2, and then the most insane 53-minute long TVT on Newkirk Precinct with one going Mech and the other going Bio. So we're going to talk about it. We're going to break it down because asymmetry is pretty uncommon in TVT. Normally it starts out different and then it sort of wiggles back to Marine Tank. But this does no such wiggling, so we get to see all the cool aspects of that. In the announcement pool, I'm sure a lot of you saw it this morning, but I'm working on a game. Yes, working on a game with a number of people I have known for a while in the After Hours Gaming League, which I wrote about there. And it's really cool because it's not just a game. It's not merely a game, but it runs in browser. And normally when you say browser game, you think of like, you know, Word games or Facebook games or something like this. This is sick. I'm like super excited for when the technology gets showcased. Because I don't know if any of you have ever done like development in Unity or Unreal or anything like that. For me, it's so sick using this engine because it delivers like full-on freaking Unreal graphics like instantly. I changed script values, hit F5, and it reloads, and there it is, implemented into the game. It's pretty cool, so that will be happening soon. But the development of the game is just starting, so that is going to be a thing. Also, tomorrow, oh my god, I know people are pumped for this. Half-Life is going to be going down. Half-Life 2. I played through Half-Life 1, and that's got to be one of the greatest games ever, and I've literally never played Half-Life 2. I've never even seen it. So, like, I know nothing. I have got this far in life and have had nothing spoiled. I've played the Portals, I've played TF2, played Half-Life 1, but have not played Half-Life 2. The whole chat, what are you kidding me? It's insane! So that'll be happening tomorrow, and of course, Fun Day Monday's topic is you to get together with a team, and you may only build spellcasters, which is things that have mana, and defensive structures. It's over there on the website. Oh yes, thank you for reminding me, little chat. If you want any updates on the technology news, or if you want early beta access, all that stuff, you can just sign up. There's a little list there. If you just go to the main site and click on this huge thing, it brings you here. And that's all. So, let us talk about Taiwan versus Taiwan, shall we? A little bit of TVT. Especially on Newkirk Precinct, it's kind of funky. So here's the way that most TVT works. Do some stuff, and get Marine Tank, and then engage in positional warfare for much of the game. The positions vary widely on Newkirk Precinct. We see the most notable position of all. Oh wait, do I still have this button set up? Oh, it's kind of a shoddy job, but yeah, these drop zones on the side. This one right here, this one right here. Probably a little easier to see, just whoa, that's very easily droppable. In fact, most notably, if you are mounting a push against your enemy and you get to a position like this, if he pulls up like here, you know, trying to defend his third base, you can easily just load up and then hook over this empty space straight into the main. Or you can even take the quick walk up to this high ground, assaulting the third, and then doing huge damage into the main. So weirdly, defending this region is of absolute utmost importance in this matchup, no matter what you're doing, just due to this big, wide ledge right here. So in the opening, general themes that we'll see are tank production gets started reasonably quickly. And when I say reasonably, the latest you'll ever see a Terran player do it is after he gets 3 barracks of Marine Marauder going. You'll never really see barracks 4, 5, 6, or any other structures built until that factory begins cranking out tanks. Same story goes for the +1 attack upgrade. So it's like a good rule of thumb if you're kind of struggling. Earlier +1 attacks, earlier tank production. Perfect. But what happens when our players start meching? This is innovation here in the bottom right-hand corner, and this is TaeJa. And this is also... Oh! Music and sound enabled. Hell yeah. So we're going to be walking through these openings. First, I want to be walking through TaeJa's side of things, because TaeJa's going to be going for a little bit more of a traditional look. And then we want to pop over and do innovation. I'm going to say straight from the get-go, innovation is meching, TaeJa is bioing. Now, I want to do this from TaeJa's point of view because it's very easy to conceptually go, okay, well, if he mechs, I know the answer is going to be this. And I can do it if I know he's meching at the start of the game. But you just can't do that, right? You have to be able to plan for all the other weird, funky things he could be doing, or even the very normal things he could be doing. You have to prepare for a guy to just build Marines and tanks, man. Hell, Ryung versus the SCT is going on. Those guys built Marines and tanks. A lot of people build Marines and tanks. So what we're going to be doing, what we're going to be seeing is TaeJa. His view first. A little bit more of a standard mix, so that way we can kind of identify, we can sort of identify what clues he's picking up on. Now, already right away, we'll note that on this map, hyper-fast Banshee is really popular because look at the abyss. Look at the huge, wide-open spread of nothingness that connects the bases. Very easy to get Banshees in there. So TaeJa is doing a rather smart move. He's completing this wall off with supply depots. And he's getting kind of this delay refinery. This, to me, says he's either going to be going for a factory and then this command center. Or, excuse me, he's definitely going command center, but he's either getting a factory first or reactor, then factory. Either way, he's sort of saying, I'm going to be getting up a starport for Vikings. Doesn't need to deal with the Banshees. Pretty straightforward. Also, tanks, very easily able to defend this. But still would love this early scout. We see innovation going for a Reaper. We're not going to go into too much detail on that right now, because first we want to see what TaeJa sees, which is not a lot of info. But here is a really subtle move. What's he doing right here? What is that? Almost always, a Marine will be popping out at 3:05 to 3:10. So he moves up here, and he goes, okay, is there a Marine? No. Is there a Marine? No. Is there a Marine? No. No, there's no Marine. Okay, I'm going to back away. Let me check. And we back away. I don't want to die to a Marine, but I also want to make sure that there is no Marine. You know what? This dude, no, he's got to be going Reaper, so I better get the hell out of there. A Reaper, as you'll see, normally comes out a little bit after 3:30, generally like 3:35-ish. So that's why he's hightailing it out just before then. Still not a lot of information for TaeJa on the big mid-game questions. Is he going to be going mech? Is he going to be doing aggressive pushes with bio? Is he going to be doing aggressive dropping with bio? These are all big questions that TaeJa wants answered. But in this position, TaeJa's just gotten a little bit of intro evidence. So we see TaeJa going for a Pectori. Excellent. Often you'll see players not build this many Marines. Often, actually, you'll see them throw down the reactor. I will even show this timing right here. Right here. This Marine right here almost always will be a reactor. Notice how the gas timing lines up just right. That he'll be able to throw down this barracks after, or excuse me, throw down this reactor after this Marine's finished. But in this circumstance, wow, no, my guy's going Reaper. I better continue Marine production. Because that's the thing that is really great about going for a Reaper. If your opponent goes Marine, then Reactor, you just kill his Marine, and then you can deal damage in his main base, and he can't really do anything about it. And most players who open one Reaper, open for two. This is a nice little precautious move from TaeJa. So it looks kind of weird to see this gas building up, but keep in mind, that would have been a reactor. This would have been an earlier command center, and then it would have been a factory follow-up. So this is just an intelligent readjustment by TaeJa. And the factory goes down afterwards. A reactor can't quite go down. He needs to get the Marines up for the Reaper. So he's going to get 4 out, and then a reactor. One of the strongest just general plays is to get that reactor out swiftly and begin pumping out the Marines. We're still pretty aware that a Banshee could pop in, but TaeJa is just doing like the most standard looking thing that you can do, which is to begin getting a lot of Marines early, begin getting a lot of tanks early, and begin getting a lot of air stuff early. He's not building tanks right now, but with this formation, I mean, this is a very conspicuous looking tech lab. I feel like it could soon be doing some mariner upgrades or some tank production. We're not going to have stim and combat shields, so there's no way we can handle frontal assaults other than getting a tank. I mean, hell, the simple statement is, we got a factory, so we may as well use it, right? Right? I mean, if the mirror to my car's broken and I have duct tape, I may as well just re-duct tape it to my car. Super glue, or maybe getting a new car. These are options, but I don't have super glue, and I definitely can't just go pick up new cars on a whim. I'd have to sell my private jet for that, and I'm not willing to do that, man. So yeah, duct tape, right? Use what you got. Now, rather than go into too extensive, much more detail about these openings, I just want to note that TaeJa gets the Banshee to exploit the fact that this is kind of a wide open back area. The same reason drops are good, Banshees are good. Now we're going to see a lot of wiggling around. At this point in time, sees this formation. Could potentially mean Mech. Maybe it doesn't. Very easy to get just a couple Hellions out and pull right on back. So TaeJa's just going to continue to do his usual sauce, which is just to pump out Marines, pump out tanks. And soon enough, get a barracks. Add it up in there. Blink. Kind of a cute play. But let's think broad ideas for a moment, shall we? Just getting extra engineering base, getting this command center until we get to 10 minutes, and it almost doesn't even matter what happened at the start of the game. Doink. Still not an astounding message from Innovation, whether it's going to definitely be Mech. Probably is, given that we've seen this, but still look back at TaeJa's base and envision being up against a bio player. Envision if he were versus someone who was trying to go for Marine tank. Well, cool, he's got his double upgrades. Stim, well, that looks kind of late. Well, of course, TaeJa saw a factory with a reactor, which means that this barracks wasn't getting stim early either. So TaeJa's actually feeling pretty even on there. He's getting a bunch of extra barracks. Oh, well, gosh, I saw reactor factory. I'm not going to build anything different. I'm just going to position my stuff differently. And that honestly is like the hallmark of an expert player. One who looks at his builds and the problems he's encountering, and he doesn't make different stuff. He just places his buildings differently or places his units differently. Fantastissimo. No extra scouting even needed, man. Just get stuff in the right spot at the right time. So then stuff's about to flare up. So, of course, I didn't even check to see if TaeJa checked for these sorts of things, but we'll find out as we go to the Innovation camp. We're going to redo this whole spiel from the opening, because we've seen things from TaeJa's point of view, and we saw how, oops, oh no, oh god, no, oh god, just pause. Okay. We saw that from TaeJa's point of view, how everything eventually flowed right back to standard Terran play. The Banshee, yeah, maybe did some things, but he got back to Marine tank, and he did it in a way that would not have screwed himself if his opponent went Mech, or screwed himself if his opponent went for Bio. It's very, let's see what's up, we're safe against everything, and boom, I'm hitting my mid-game. Let's do the same for the less usual Mech from Innovation. Now I'm allowed to rewind. Yeah. Innovation cam. Innovation? Oh god, is Innovation the barcode? I never knew that. Man, that barcode player is so good. There he is. There's the one. We found out. We found out the identity of barcode today. Okay. Now, with TaeJa, we saw some good themes going on in there. How does TaeJa plan for his mid-game and plan to be strong in his mid-game? Well, we saw him not doing almost any attacking, just with a single Banshee. And TaeJa got those early upgrades. That'll help later on. He got that early third command center. That'll help later on. He started his tank production early. That'll help later on. Marines are the sort of icing on the cake of all of this. Even though they're the real damage dealers, it's everything else that's permitting the Marines to be that way. So we're going to see the same thing from Innovation. How do we find out, or how do we make statements about how he's setting himself up for later? So right away, I'm going to be going straight in for Reaper production. Now, why does this make sense at this early phase in the game? Because we want to begin getting gas early if we're a mech player. So, whatever strategy will lead into that should use gas. I'm going to be opening straight away with the Reaper. This will abuse other openings like the one Marine straight into reactor play that many Terran players unwisely do blindly. Gonna poop on that. By going for Reaper, we also save up enough money to throw down a command center. Plop, there it goes down. We also get to occasionally get great scouts, but most of the time we'll just be picking stuff off at the front. We get a little bit of map control. So perfect. There's our factory going down. Here is our reactor going down. And boom. Now, it's very easy to look at this formation and say, okay, well, why didn't Innovation just go straight for gas and then be able to get this barracks reactor stuff up right away? He totally could. Nice thinking. I love it. There are builds where you do generally kind of have to be a little more conservative with the command center placement, but totally, yeah. Just getting the factory right off the bat. This variation, getting the Reapers before doing it, gets a little map control in there. It's not necessary, but we can see that it does make sense. Here's something that would not make a lot of sense and would actually kind of be harmful to the whole schema. Would be going for one barracks, bunch of Marines for defense, and then trying to go into some sort of mech mid-game. Because the Marines don't contribute to any of that at all. Reapers are highly mobile, can hop up and down high grounds, they can get valuable scouting, valuable positional information. Marines are not a good utility unit. They're a good kill all the things unit. So it's great that we're already seeing Reapers pop out. A lot of other bad ways to go mech, such as losing and being like, oh, God, man, I'm just going to go mech now. Very swiftly getting the second refinery. Great. As much as we've been talking about dealing the damage, we also have to think about avoiding taking the damage. Innovation's trying to work his way in, because he's only seen Marines. He could very well be up against a Banshee rush. He's going to have to build this factory, or excuse me, have to build this starport right away. So there it goes down, before even seeing the command center. So okay, he's seen the command center, but still, really trying to get that scouting info in there. And also notice that Innovation has his command center at his natural before his opponent. Ah. These Reapers, or excuse me, these Hellions are going to accomplish the exact same thing that the Reapers were accomplishing, but they're going to do a better job of it in the mid-game. Innovation is going to contain and buy himself a lot of time. There's a couple of Marine tank pushes that are a pain in the ass. These will shut those down. Going for the very swift starport, doing the swap. Heads on in, sees the tech lab, gets the good scout. This is why Reapers are a lot better than a bunch of Marines. They can do that sort of stuff. Oh, yep, he sees it. And cool, Viking and Hellion. This is a very standard looking mixture that we see out of a lot of players. It's always been great. We get our early second geyser up, particularly for this Raven. This is really the primary reason. Kind of another cool utility move, getting Widow Mines. Great against Banshees, you know, like placing one. Actually, you can do a really dirty thing and place it here. Now, I want you to see where my mouse cursor goes to, right here. It actually hides behind They can't see it. So it's great for killing Banshees, and again, great for killing Marine tank pushes. So we see everything getting set up on the defensive angle, but what about this for the mid-game? What about this for the future? That's what we're going to see coming on up. Getting these geysers at the natural, I think, is the biggest error made from the amateur meching players. Mech is primarily mineral. Actually, it's just freaking everything expensive, but primarily minerals you need a hell of a lot of. So he's going to get that third command center up very, very swiftly. Moving the Widow Mines out, this is a good position to go to because it will pick off a lot of Banshees. And a single scan can eliminate that. But what do you know? Just Hellion Viking production en masse. We're not seeing any blue flame, no nothing get researched. We're seeing the two factories go down. This is where we'll start to see Innovation play a little catch up and begin to get a lot of tanks. Only after all that infrastructure is down do we actually see this extra set of geysers go down. It's one of the last things that gets rounded out. I'm actually curious. In TaeJa's side of things, a little earlier on one of the geysers, but that's about it. Hit and play. Production tab. Nice and huge and swollen on up. Continually building these Vikings can almost never be a bad thing. Like, ever. It's either going to be great for killing Medivacs later, or it's going to be great for killing the Banshees now. Again, notice that this helps for the later side of things. This huge area is a pain in the ass to defend his mech, so he's setting himself up for that. And yeah, so we see third command centers abound. Third command centers abound. We see the armory coming up surprisingly late. We normally like to think of players getting their double upgrades started super fast. Not as necessary with the setup that we see out of Innovation. Innovation needs to get a lot of these Hellions up early to get all the space he needs to be able to safely get this base up. There's the Blue Flame Hellion going down. And last but not least, the Tanker. Tanky. Tanker. Almost nothing TaeJa can do about that. Soon enough sensor towers and all those annoyingnesses. Oh, whoops. Soon enough sensor towers and all sorts of other things can be of use. Is there a mine somewhere in here? Oh, there it is.
Upgrade complete.
And he takes it out. Alright, cool. So we're at the 10-minute mark. These players have set themselves up nicely. These tanks from these two factories are going to be critical for defending in the mid-game. These Hellions are going to be nice backup until Hellbats can get produced. These are just contain units. And these are just a little defensive squad. Everything's really nicely set up defensively for both of these players. When we come back, we're going to watch these players spring into the mid-game. We're at 10 minutes of 53. So part 2 is going to be a lot of looking at the mid-game positioning and the sort of judgment calls that will be made. A little bit of focus on the build orders at the start, which makes sense because that's where you have the most control. And there's the most big choices to make. And when we come back, that's when the real juicy hard ones happen. Oh! That's when we start to see all the crazy micro. We get to see all the positioning. We get to see the cool plays. Stay tuned.